There we go. Welcome, Kuku. It's a pleasure to have you here with me on Soul Brews with Sheba in Coffee and Soul. Thank you so much for making the time.
It's a pleasure to talk to you always. I've always enjoyed it from the first day I met you.
Lovely to have you. Thank you for making the time. Do you have your cup of coffee ready with you?
Yes.
Well, then let's raise a cheer and to life, Kuku, and to all that it brings. Thank you for being here with me on the show. Ah, the first sip is always phenomenal. Can I ask you to hold this cup of coffee between your palms? And if you can just sit back and close your eyes and nestle the warmth in your palms.
Well, it's a cold coffee.
It's a cold coffee. All right. So we keep the cold coffee in your palms. And what does it conjure up for you? Any image that comes to you as you have the.
Nothing. I just see a bright light, and I try not to reflect on the negative things and think only of the good things.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I get stuck, I start doing my mantras internally.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And what does this thank you. You can open your eyes whenever you want to and put your coffee down. What does this bright light mean for you?
Well, I hope I'm connecting with the Almighty. So that is what I want to connect to and detach myself from most things which irritate you and bring out the negative, in you.
Mm, mm. What is the form of doing that? How do you do that, Kuku?
Well, I just keep looking inwards and try to see that. I've never really achieved the proper state of meditation, but they say I have. And it gives me peace rather than dwell on what is wrong with me, what is going wrong. I said, that's not in my hands. It is my karma.
Yeah.
Bad. And if I don't control, complain with the good times, I must accept the bad times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it is totally not within your control at
Right.
all.
Yeah. And Kuku, you are in your ninth decade now,
Yeah.
and a brilliant move into the decade, the kind of spirit and the elan that you live your life with. What has led you to this free spiritedness? What has been the influence for you?
Well, you see, I took to yoga. I was very short tempered and, like everybody else. At 40 years, having physical trouble. So I went to a DCWA meeting where they had a demonstration of yoga. And a few of us went to see the Swamiji who had done it. And I joined his yoga classes for 9 months. I went every single day. There was no Sundays off, only, maybe Republic Day or National Day. And that started changing, firstly, my physical condition and mental condition. It slowed me down a lot.
Yeah.
And in fact, they offered me a job to teach there.
Really?
And
Yeah.
they wanted to train me in Jammu.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I can't do that because that's a very full life over here.
Yeah.
So when I went to Dubai, I offered to teach. And I started teaching at the American school.
Okay.
And if I didn't know anything, I'd tell them to wait. I said, I don't know it. I'm going to study it because he'd written a brilliant book on it. It's Swami, what is his name? Dhirendra.
This is
Who had
Dhirendra
opened
Brahmachari? Yes.
Dhirendra Brahmachari.
Yeah.
He had opened an ashram and we used to go there every day. And so I'd look it up. Like one girl, she said, my hair's falling all the time. I said, I don't know the asan. I'll tell you in a few days. And I started her on it and everybody else in the class because it's a very simple thing to do. And when she came back from UK, she said, I stopped your thing. My hair started falling again. I went to the doctor.
Wow.
And he said, no, you go back to what is suiting you.
Right.
And so now my hair is not falling. And the rest of the class also said it's improving the health of our hair. So, slowly you learn because it's so much beyond what we accepted. We were so westernized in our things with that we were forgetting our own culture. And the more I did of it, the more I, understood it and meant to me. And I think that was the beginning of the change of my attitude. And over the years, you try to detach yourself. And then, of course, I was sent to Woodstock
Okay. Yes.
school, which
Yes.
taught you very free thinking.
Correct.
My father used to say the biggest mistake I made was to send her to Woodstock. She's got opinions on everything. Where you could say anything to a teacher.
Right.
It didn't
Right.
mean disrespect
Yes.
or anything, but they didn't mind it. They didn't take it as a personal thing.
Right.
So
Right.
that's where the free thinking came from.
Yeah, and that has so then what I'm hearing you say, Kuku, is there is a happy marriage between the Western way of looking at things and looking at your own. Do you feel that?
Definitely there is. Because if you, all the time respect, blind, I don't believe in.
Correct.
And that's what Woodstock got you out of.
Right.
You know,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
that
Exactly.
you can go out and say anything and yet be very, and learn from them also.
Sure.
Whereas the Indian ways, they become very offended.
That's right. How has it been for you in your life? As I ask you, if you were to reflect on the whole journey of what have been some of your defining moments? Some you've just told me about what you did, but the yoga, what an impactful thing it was for you. But as you kind of reflect back on these 90 odd years, what do you think? Yes.
Basically, my parents were both very religious. And
Very,
those things,
very irreligious.
very religious. My
Very
father prayed for 4 months, 4 hours every day. My mother for 2.5.
Wow.
You see, actually, my father ran away. He wanted to become a yogi.
Right.
Mother
Right.
got older women, got him back. She says his mind was always there.
Right.
So
Right.
all those, you see, values and things, go into your system. And
Yeah.
of course, you rebel a lot. I was very rebellious
Yeah. Yeah.
because I didn't want to do anything I didn't want to do. And luckily, I've had people who are very indulgent that way. My father never forced me. My husband was very, accepting of that. And in fact, he used to say, why do you women put up with what all we do to you?
He's so right. I wish we had more of him around.
But he said you should put your foot down.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed of what we do, but
Yeah.
it's time you also. So, by and large, all
Yes.
those things, being allowed that freedom made a lot of difference.
Yeah. 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 No, and I understand that. One of the things you said, and I was quite intrigued, and I wanted to bring this up right now into our conversation is, you were saying when you were talking about meditation and the peace, and you're saying, I don't believe I've been in a meditative state, whereas others tell me that I have.
That
I would
maybe,
be,
they say what you're doing that is meditation,
yes,
but I still have to feel a connect.
yes, yes, yes. Hmm, 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 hmm,
Or what you're supposed to feel, or maybe it's my imagination.
hmm,
But
hmm.
if whenever I'm in trouble, I say, it is your wish. I've never complained about the good times. Why shouldn't I accept my karms
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
deal with them?
And that's
Over time, you stop noticing anything negative in people. You look for the good or in any situation, which keeps you happier.
Is that something that you find you do a lot of? You don't
Yes.
see the negative and you just see the good in people? Is
No,
that?
that is them. Who am I to judge them?
Mm,
That is their karma.
mm, mm,
And if I just can't take it, I just move away without,
mm,
any this thing.
That is very, very sage-like, Kuku.
It is very different.
Yes, it's very sage-like. It's and the beauty is that you don't take any. I mean, you don't. You wear it so lightly.
Well, it comes over years. It's a long time. I started yoga when I was 40.
Yes,
And you gradually start becoming like that, detached, not noticing. And
yes,
you discover you're happier.
yes,
That.
yes, yes.
Though I must say, I do have a bad temper, but even that I try to control.
There has to be something that keeps you here, right? Otherwise, there's something that we all need to work on that keeps
Now,
us here.
honestly, I say, okay, no, I'm not going to do this thing. They're going to do what they're going to do. Why am I upsetting myself?
Yeah,
First, when my husband died, the first night I was left alone in the house, I felt a bit scared.
sure, sure.
And then I said, but the alternative is to go and live with somebody. That's not on. I have to make myself strong.
Right,
And
right, right.
so that's how you start dealing with situations. You see the alternative.
Yes. How long ago was it when since you lost your husband? When was it, Kuku?
13 years now.
13 years. 13 years. But
In
till
fact, he died the year of our golden wedding anniversary. He
really?
first, he first had his 80th birthday,
Mm, mm.
and then we had our this thing anniversary, and I didn't know that was the year he was going to pass away.
My God.
But I
Yeah.
said they were very, you have a lot of fights. Sometimes you feel like walking out,
Yes.
but then you forget all that.
Yes. Yes.
And you just remember the happy times and the looking after. And, like
Yes.
at one day at the table, he says, I noticed you're eating one chapati instead of two. Is something wrong? I said,
Mm.
no, my appetite is gone. But to have somebody that caring,
Yes.
you only remember the caring things.
Exactly. 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 And it must have been a very how 50 years. So your there must have been many. Were you here? You talked about going to Dubai as well. So did you
But
move around?
he was superseded in the bank, so he resigned.
Mm,
And then we got this job in Dubai,
mm.
and we were there for 27 years. And there again in the bank, he rose again. Then,
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. So, what are some of the gifts that you received that have shaped you, Kuku? What do you think have been the key things? You've spoken about some of them, but if I was to ask you to just focus on a few that you feel in your life, it's because of these things that you are where you are.
well, you see, I've lost two children. Now, my mother, when I lost my daughter, who was 14, she died of lupus. You learn how to handle it.
Right, right.
She said, I hope you've not gone against God and this and that. I said, not at all.
Mm,
But that was a very difficult time because
mm,
I was in my 40s. But then you accept it and then you feel she's better where she's gone.
mm,
I tried to, then I said, I've got a family.
mm,
I cannot have an atmosphere like this in my house.
mm.
For the whole atmosphere depends on the woman.
Yeah.
So you pull yourself together. So in all the things, when you lose people, you try to deal with it and just remember the happy times with them.
Mm, mm,
That is something you learn from your parents. My mother was a very, you know, sensible woman that way.
mm,
How she would guide you. As I said, because of the religious atmosphere, we learn to accept these things much better.
mm, mm,
Even when my husband died, I said, how am I going to live one day without him?
mm.
And You just learn. Then I say, but he's better off where he is.
Yeah.
So why it's my selfishness. I must just remember what he did for me, how he left me so comfortable,
Mm,
and
mm,
try the best I can. It's not that I don't have fights or arguments as much as
yes.
that,
Yes.
but you do try to rationalize, and I find I'm becoming more detached and on
Mm,
purpose.
mm, 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 mm. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like my son, he wanted to come. I just had a fall recently and had a fracture.
Yes, I'm aware of that. Uma was
And
telling us that. Yeah.
I said, Tarun, don't come
Mm,
because people are saying it. Don't come because of any pressure,
mm,
because I don't feel that you should be here
mm,
with the quarantine and all that. He said, no, mom, I want to come whenever I ever listen to people. I'm coming because I just would like to see you.
mm, mm.
But with the COVID and all, traveling and getting permission and all is difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what I mean to say is that I have managed to detach myself and not expect anything.
Mm,
And I feel you're much happier, whatever they do. You're very happy, you're very grateful for.
absolutely.
In real life, actually, I've got a very caring daughter in law.
Okay.
How she
That's.
looks after each need, and yet I don't compare.
Mm, mm,
She would spend there and does this for things. I told her in the beginning, I said, I don't expect you to love me as you love your mother. I'm
mm,
somebody's daughter. That is not possible.
mm,
I
mm.
said, just tell me when my son does something wrong, don't go to him. Come to me. Don't put pressure on me. I said, come when I'm not in a temper, we'll work it out.
Mm, mm,
But
mm.
it won't do us any good. And all I say is that let's be friends. And she said,
That's
yes,
beautiful.
I would love to be a friend.
I think that is so beautiful, and I think if a
And
yes,
I said, anything you have against me, come to me. Mom, I don't like this.
yes,
I
yes,
said, I don't expect you to give to me what you give to your mother.
sure, yeah,
Let's be good friends.
yeah.
And
That
she
is.
said, you're the most straightforward person I've ever met.
I think there's a learning here for everyone, on how to deal with their daughter-in-laws who come into their lives, and how do you create the equation, the understanding that what you just reflected on, to say that you can never
No, I
learn.
went a lot in the beginning. I went out of my way to create that bond.
Mm,
I'd
mm,
call Tarun and she wouldn't normally come. Every time I'd specially ask for her.
sure.
I want to talk to Sita.
Mm.
So by the end she says, Mom, he gets jealous. He says, she tells you things she never tells you.
Yeah.
But you have to work towards it
Yes.
with sincerity, honesty.
Correct.
And we've
Correct.
got a beautiful relationship. Really have.
That's wonderful. That's so good to know. And you also are a voracious reader, am I right,
Yes,
Kuku?
yes. That is something you'd learn in Woodstock.
Right,
So
right.
when you are joined, they have such beautiful books for you,
Yeah.
encourage you
Mm,
to read
mm,
for
yeah.
every subject also. And then they make you read books. Every 6 weeks, you have to submit a book report
Okay.
that
Okay.
you've actually read it. And
Right.
by that time, you realize what a lot of pleasure, reading can give you.
Absolutely. What are you reading right now? Is there anything that you have that you
Well, it's a
currently?
book by a Punjabi author,
Mm.
which I'm not enjoying very much. I reached the stage where I only want to read happy things. I don't mind, crime and soppy books,
Right.
but I don't like all these, things with mental illnesses and various things. Some are just sad. To me, they don't appeal to me because I
Sure.
don't want to be sad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate that, and just the focus on being happy and positive. I think that is so amazing. Um, is there an adage you live by, Kuku? Is there something that is something that is a constant inspiration for you that, some of us have some metaphors that we live by or some, is there
Well,
something?
I feel if I can help people, I will. If I can spread happiness, I will. And otherwise, that religious thing has come into my mind. So any situation, or if want to tell somebody off, I first put myself into their position.
Yeah.
Like people expect their children to come at the drop of a hat. And I said, how much did I used to come?
Mm,
I
mm,
came when I could.
mm,
And I leave it at that.
mm, mm,
It's not fair to put a burden on your children on
mm,
that.
mm.
And if they come, you have a much happier relationship. That's why I'm a great believer in old folks' homes.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
way, it's a much better relationship.
Mm, mm, mm.
That business of joint family has gone,
Right.
where there were so many people to look after you.
Right. Right. Right.
And we all liked our own lives. That's why I'm not willing to shift in with anybody.
This
After
amazing
50
streak.
days
Go ahead.
with
Go ahead.
my children, I want to come home.
Yes. Yeah. I totally understand that there's this amazing streak of independence that is so strong, right?
No, but I'll tell you, my
Yeah.
mother-in-law, my mother, my sister was widowed very early.
Yeah.
All of them wanted it. Maybe that streak runs in the family. I don't know.
I guess your own space and your own privacy is probably it's
No,
really
I think they should lead their own lives. We've led our own lives. We've been very happy. They're also entitled to it.
yes, that's true. But so here's a question. So do you do this because they should lead their own life, or do you do this because you want your own
No,
life?
because I'm detaching myself. I have detached myself. Believe me, there's no expectation from anybody.
Mm,
And you can do this over a thing. It is hard work, but I feel it's really worth it in the end. And it does spread happiness.
yes, yes, yes. And for yourself as well?
Yes. Uh,
Yeah, would you say that it gives you happiness as well?
yeah. Well, if you spread happiness, if you're happy, you spread happiness.
It can't happen otherwise. Yes. Yeah. And what makes you happy?
Just, seeing, being able to do what I like, my independence,
Yes.
being able to worship and have friendly people around I relate to. I don't want to be with them all the time,
Yes.
but I do enjoy company. I do enjoy getting out.
Right. Right. Right.
But,
Yeah. And getting out in the evenings, getting out now with COVID, it's all gone. But
oh,
having a drink together and
weekend, no, drinks and all. Now I don't like to go out in the evenings. All my socializing is done in the
done.
morning.
Ha, ha.
Like we're allowed to walk in our complex. We got a beautiful Zen garden where we can sit.
Lovely.
So that makes a very good change.
Yes. Yes.
We're not just confined to the thing. I
Yes.
can't stand being confined.
Yeah.
Really.
Has that been like something that has been with you throughout? Can't stand being confined. Is that
Yes, yes. That's a
that's,
family trait. Everybody in the Berry family has to get out.
Mm,
When I talk to people, they say, we don't mind not going out. We're quite happy. We have enough to do. I said, so do I. But I
yes.
still like to get out
Yes,
and
of course.
interact.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else, some incident, something that you'd like to share about your life, something that had a huge impact on you, or a little, or some of your reflections? Because I do believe that they can be inspiring for so many of us. You
Well,
know.
I don't think of anything. It's just with each situation how I deal with it. Like lost my seventh, my son. I lost 5 members in 5 years.
Wow, my
3 brothers,
God, Kuku.
a husband, and a brother. And this thing, son.
My
But
God.
then I say, okay, they're better off. They were very good to me. They were very good individuals, set a very good example to me, to us. Because those values I feel are changing now with the youngsters. You know, their ethics, their morals. But I say I'm nobody to support, criticize them. Who am
Mm, mm,
I? Now I've stopped judging them also.
mm, 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 mm. So
So
what changes are you seeing, Kuku? In all this, what are you seeing?
well, even the, little things with the children, except now, we
Mm,
would never accept in the old days. We
mm,
were taught that was wrong.
mm.
But slowly those things are changing.
Is
Not
there
slowly, they've changed a hell of a lot.
a hell
As
of a lot?
my father said,
Is there a concrete example, something you could say? What do you think it is that is dramatically changed from what was?
well, firstly, the honesty, the integrity,
Mm,
caring for other people deeply,
mm,
when they're there, and
mm,
not suffocating them either.
mm,
But
mm,
all that has changed. Now it's only me. As I said, in the joint families, every child was considered the same as child of the family. Then
correct.
it became me and my children should do better.
Mm,
That's a very big thing I've noticed.
mm,
As my son tells me, he says, Mom,
mm,
the relationships you have with your cousins, we can never dream of having because they're.
mm.
But first, you made it a point always to meet on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So the touch was there.
Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, I don't criticize them for it.
Yeah.
That's the way the world is moving.
It's an observation that you have. Is that right? That you would treat
If
it.
you keep thinking, "Oh, my day, you're making yourself very unhappy. So
That's right.
let them do what they want, and you do what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that is a very freeing way of being, not only for yourself, but you free up the others as well. And that is a real gift. Um, if I, we all have a unique way of looking at the world and a unique lens. There's something that only you can bring because you are unique, and I believe that it's a gift for humankind. I don't want it to sound very big. All I'm trying to say is that it's a perspective that only one individual who is you will have,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's a gift that you bring to humanity as such. What do you think is your gift?
No, I've got no gift. As I said, I try to be as helpful as I can.
Mm,
I listen to people. I
mm,
don't give advice.
mm,
I
mm,
say,
yeah,
I may put a different way of looking at it. Like
yeah,
somebody the other day rang me up, talking about her mother's death.
mm,
I said, she had a wonderful last 3 months
mm,
in her life.
mm,
I only thought how happy I am that she's gone
mm, mm,
because she was suffering so much.
mm,
And yet she had those 3 happy months in her life. So that had not, she was mourning her because it was 1 month since her mother died.
right, right,
Just look at it this way. So that way you try to bring comfort to people. That
yeah,
is.
yeah,
I mean, you hope it brings it, and you don't do it with a conscious
yeah.
effort.
Yeah. No, but those are gifts, and those are real gifts, and I want to acknowledge and validate you for that, because they seem small, but they're not. They are very, very big things. Granting succor to people, being there for them, these are not small things. And actually, these are the things that we have in our race. We are forgetting a lot, you know to be able to do that. So you're talking about this, I think, is a gentle reminder to all of us to say, what is it that is really important?
No, I won't say the West. It has come very much into the East. We've got this habit.
Yes,
Some of habits the Westerners have are also things which we should learn
of
from them.
course. Yes,
To think,
absolutely.
oh, Gora hai, that's wrong. They
Mm,
got some very good gifts. And a combination of that is really great, I think.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And that has been you, right? It's been a combination of both the things that has been pretty much has been the mark of.
As I said, Woodstock and this
Yes.
very religious, atmosphere in the house.
Yes, yes.
And
Amazing, amazing how it must have shaped you. I can just visualize the
it
seeming.
must be in the family. Because my mother always used to say that her father went to inquire about my father's family when
Right.
she was going to get engaged. He said, "What are they like?" And they said, "They're very fine integrity people, but they're very eccentric." She said, "Really, my father never listened to them." So I think these family genes and all.
Yeah. Oh, this has been. Is there anything else you'd like to say? If there is some message you'd like to give to, say, a younger you, say when you were 35, and our people
Terrible.
similar. You were terrible. Okay. So what would you tell yourself? What would you tell that younger you?
No, I would say think about the other person. Put yourself in their position. And then you find you wouldn't do a lot of stupid things you've done.
So being sorry, being empathetic with others and putting yourself in their shoes is a message that you would give, right? Before. Would I be correct in saying that?
But you see, one should not hold bitterness against them. Okay, they're like this, they don't listen.
Yes.
You said that is their karam.
Yes.
Leave it at that. Finish with it. You're much happier.
Correct. Yes. Yes. Wonderful. I've really, really enjoyed talking with you, and it's been I've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm so glad you came in to have a soul brew with me and to share your life and some of your learnings and the way that you live. It's been an absolute pleasure, Kuku.
And I was very embarrassed and I didn't see what you wanted to talk to me about. But it's been great fun.
I'm so glad to hear that. I'm sure, I hope it was comfortable and, it didn't put you out in any way. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sheba.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Such a pleasure.
I used to enjoy meeting you and your father, whom I thought was a lovely man.
Yes, he was. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. And please take care. And see you soon. And that champagne has to happen. And I look forward to that.
Hope I don't drink.
Well, you can have a lot of joy and I will drink for both of us then. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Where's Fancy gone?